Talk to me, Cleveland. What's going on? This is Chill Talk. You already know what this is. This is your brother, Kevin Chill Hurd. And it's going down today. You've seen the promo. We're going to be talking to people on the ground, in the streets, in Rochester, New York, where it is civil unrest. It's problems. Let me get this volume together. Just a second, guys. Just a second, people. Give me a second. Stop the recording. All right, we should be good here. No echo, no sound. Had some technicals. The Facebook picking up the Zoom. Here we go. All right, you know how we do it already. We got some people we need to shout out. Oh, and by the way, before we go to Rochester, we got people in the Rock, out in the streets, ready to talk about it. Let us know what's going on in real time. But again, welcome to Chill Talk. This is your brother, Kevin Chill Hurd. And you already know what it is. If you are in Northeast Ohio, get with my man from emonroofing.com. Hit him up at 216-678-9445. If you say you're down with Chill Talk, you get a free roofing inspection. Free. All right. And if you need a roof, if you need your roof repaired, a patch, some shingles fell off, or you need a whole doggone roof, if you're down with Chill Talk and you have any kind of insurance, my man from Emon Roofing says he will do his best to make sure that a nickel does not come out of your pocket. And you already know, man, it's hot. It's hot up in here for the Spears. Spears flying all over the place. You see what I'm saying? Okay, bow. My brothers from the Kofi Pie Side Research Team. Spears of the Mossy, Historical Survey of the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 1. This joint is in Africa. All right, this has already gone to the motherland. From this land, another land, to the motherland. All right, this was already over there. My brothers from the Kofi Pie Side Research Team done thrown a spear all the way across to the motherland continent. All right, so if they have it in the motherland, all right, then you need to have it here. But check this out. Bow, Volume 2. From spears to pens, a historical survey of the minds of African warrior scholars, Volume 2. So you got to catch up. Volumes 1 and 2. Very necessary information from the brothers from the Kofi Pie Side Research Team. And it, man, I'm telling you, it's getting hot up here. Spears, man, get your spear. You got to have your spears sharp. The spears are flying all over the place. I'm sure some of the brothers from the Kofi Pie Side Research Team are in the building. Please drop the information where they can get their spears, because it's time to have them. Volume 1 and Volume 2. You know what? We're gonna have to do a whole new show on Volume 2. Get the Kofi Pie Side Research Team back up in the building and get it cracking on Volume 2. We've already talked about Volume 1. We had the brothers up on here. We got it in, but they going extra extra deep into the roots. All right, so we're going to talk to the brothers from the Kofi Pi-Side research team. I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm sure they can drop in the link where you can get. Okay, I see it, where you can get it. There you are, my brother, Eni Eretsham Kalfani, the man, has dropped the information where you can get volumes 1 and 2. All right, man, there you go, man. You see I'm on here, man. You can see me now, right, bro? Hopefully you can see me, man. Talk to me. You couldn't see me before because we hadn't started the show. All right, but all right, hopefully, let me know that you guys can see me. So in the chat, let me know that you can see me. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do right now is bring in, because before we go to Rochester, I got two brothers to bring in. I ran into my man, JT Lynch, and you know he's never far from his brother Ken LeGrand, better known as Horns and Things. They have a gig. So we got to talk to these brothers real quick before we get cracking about what's happening in the Rock. So, JT, if you can, brother, come on. Let me see. Let me ask you to unmute. Let me ask Ken LeGrand to unmute.
All right.
All right, JT, your vocals in there. Get your cam in there, and we good.
Okay, let's see. Can we get the cam on? Oh man.
I know this is a tough one for you, JT.
I know, baby. It's real hard, man.
We practiced this, bro.
I know, man. And the camera is not even let me see. Can I get
there's Ken. Ken's in the building.
All right, man. Hold on.
We see Ken.
JT, look down at the bottom.
Okay.
You see a picture of a camera, and just touch that, because it'll have a line
At the
through it.
bottom. Okay, that's the ship.
There you go. There's my man,
All right.
JT Lynch.
Hey,
the man, the myth,
up.
the legend. JT Lynch in the building. Let me talk to JT real quick, because this is how we got this started. JT chased us down on Shaker Square. You know how he does it. He saw myself and the super producer Felicia Haney. What's going on, JT?
Hey man, you know, like you say, just stand out the way. Luckily, I took the test, and they told me that I'm negative, so I was happy about that. And
you are talking about COVID. You talking about COVID, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know what test you could have taken, JT.
Hey man, whatever one it was, when they told me I was cool, I said okay.
All right, and we have his man Ken LeGrand. Everybody in northeastern Ohio and beyond that knows these brothers as members of the group Horns and Things. Ken, how's it going, bro?
Man, it's going good, man. It's going good. I'm still alive in the day of COVID. It's going great.
Okay. All right. So for the people who don't know you guys, introduce us to see, now you're in trouble, JT. I'm about to let Felicia in the room. Let us know about Horns and Things.
Well, you know, we've been together 37 years, and we've got just about all original members. Only one guy, he hasn't been with us long. He's only been with us about 20 years, you know, so he's a young guy. But
well, it's a little more than 20 now.
But on September the 19th, because of the situations, we're going to be doing the date. We're going to stream live from the Bop Stop. So we're trying to get people aware of that. And hopefully before we leave, we'll give them information so they can come and check us out September 19th. And it's no ticket involved, but we're asking for donations so that, you know, a few brothers can make it through the COVID.
Okay, so we've been joined now by the super producer, Felicia Haney has made it. What's going on, Haney?
Hey, how's everybody?
Oh, girl. Wonderful.
Hey, Felicia, how are you?
I am well, thanks. So glad you guys could join us this evening.
It's truly our pleasure. Like I say, man, it's always wonderful to be here. And I hate it's the circumstances are different, but at least we do get the opportunity to, reach out to the people thanks to you and Chill and the format that you presented.
All right, and no stranger to the show, JT. So we, always glad to have you, brother. And Ken, always good to see you. Now, Horns and Things, are you just for our people? Are you a jazz group? How do you consider yourselves to let the people know who haven't seen you?
Well, man, we try to, because we play all originals, and we really just try to write good music. I guess because there's a lot of improvisation involved, people would say, yeah, we're a jazz group, but we have a song that has a rap on it. We have a song that some of the stuff we play is danceable. Some of it's just good mood music. But I would say a contemporary jazz group versus a smooth jazz group. I would say a contemporary jazz group.
Y'all got a song with somebody rapping on it. JT, how y'all gonna act, man? Y'all didn't ask me to come do that. Who's rapping on y'all song?
Oh man, and that you say
I
that,
wanted
man.
to know. That was gonna be my next question. Who was doing this rap?
His name was John. His name was John, and
so it wasn't neither one of y'all.
Oh no,
we went. No.
That's what I wanted to know.
And, we don't rap and we don't sing.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that it was a wonderful time for us, but it was a tragic thing because he got killed in a fire in Boston.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, like I said, man, it was just horrible, but we still got him etched in, so his voice will be going on forever for as long as we're here.
All right,
but yeah, man. And the name of it is
to John.
Yes, right. And the name of the song is "Girl." Yeah. So
okay,
yeah,
I know you had something to do with that title there, JT.
Well, I'm not adverse to that topic.
Hey, so now you guys are going to be at the Bop Stop. Let us know where the I mean, I know where the Bop Stop is, but let us know where the Bop Stop is.
The Bop Stop
it's on West 29th in Detroit, but it's a stream concert, so there really won't be an audience.
Right. Okay, but you guys will be at the Bop Stop, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we're streaming live from the Bop Stop. Yes.
And how do they see the show?
They'll go on Facebook. You'll go on Facebook Live, and you can go on the Bop Stop website.
Okay.
And that will give you all the information. The information for login will be on our Facebook pages and things like that. So they'll have all the info.
Okay, so they go to look for the Cleveland Bop Stop because we do have an international audience.
Yes, it's the Bop Stop at the Music Settlement. The Music Settlement actually owns it. So it's the Bop Stop at the Music Settlement. Or you can go on the Music Settlement website and click on the Bop Stop link.
Okay, and that's the Cleveland Music Settlement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, man. We
just
from
the Music Settlement.
We're from the CLE, man. We ain't playing.
Hey, real quick, and I've heard the story before, and I know Felicia has. But how did you guys get together?
Well, my brother and I had a band, and we played at the church one day, and this guy came up and played clarinet and asked if he could sit in. And after that,
I played clarinet.
didn't you have Gail's clarinet? Yeah, didn't you sit in with clarinet?
Yeah, see, I didn't even have a clarinet with me that day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he said,
it was. I played Gail. I forget what was Gail. I don't remember what her last name was, but
Gail Thomas.
I played her clarinet.
Yeah,
Gail Thomas. And then she asked, or then your brother, Billy, asked me, yeah, man, you know, we'd like to have you play with us. And I was excited because I was the young kid.
And then from there, you know, we both went to Akron U. So we were at Akron U together. And so we had a group before Horns and Things, a group called Toe Jam. And oh yeah, man. In fact, man, you can Google us on YouTube. You can see us back in the day.
All right, now Felicia and I have had the pleasure
Back in the day.
Not only do we see JT everywhere, Ken is a little more low key to JT. JT is all over the place. Ken is laying it low.
That's why they call it that. That's why he's JT.
But Felicia and I
he used to say that meant just tremendous.
Okay, it was just okay. All right. Now, Felicia and I know JT also from where we worked with JT's son, Arana Lynch, for years and years at the Calling Post. He was a sports writer, sports editor. And Felicia, I think you can agree, knowing JT and knowing Arana, his son, the apple doesn't fall from the far from the tree.
Not far at all. We talking about inches off the ground.
Believe me, I've known Arana since he was born, so I know exactly what you're saying. The apple in the tree.
But see now, Felicia and I have a very deep history.
Oh, here we go.
Well, we were at a family gathering one time, and Felicia happened to be at our family gathering. And so we were talking, and I guess someone said that I was a jazz musician, and she said, oh, my parents go out to hear jazz all the time. And I said, oh, yeah, who are your parents? So she told me who her parents were. I know her mother and father well. You know, her mother's an excellent vocalist, so, you know, 6 degrees of separation.
Well, no doubt, you know, Teresa Haney is no stranger herself to Chill Talk. She's been a guest. She's been a guest co-host. And so, you know, and has sang on the show.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, you know how that, you know, we already know how that one goes down.
That's why she's my hero.
Anytime Felicia Haney's mom, Teresa Haney, comes up on the show, it's prime time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Felicia, anything before we get to the streets of Rochester? And we got a couple things, Felicia, that we need to talk about before we get to the rock. Any other things you need to know from JT and Ken?
Yes, so I just want you to kind of walk me through this. So, because we're doing something similar with GCUF with the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival with the streaming. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the right page and I know exactly what you guys are doing and how to find you. So if I want to see you guys, you'll be live at the Bob Stop, but the audience needs to log on, I'm assuming, to watch.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so how do I do? I go to the Bob Stop's website to do that?
It's actually going to be broadcast on Facebook. But Facebook. You can get right. But all information, all the links, everything will be on the Bob Stop's website as to exactly how to log in, exactly what you know, how to get in.
And how do we make donations?
It's Give Butter. That's on there as well. You'll see there's a link for that, but it's called Give Butter. And it has different increments of donations that you can give. And then there is an other tab too, if you don't like those increments, meaning if you want to go really high, it's okay.
That's right. Go up.
If you really want to pay what this concert is worth.
That's right. Well, I'm saying that's in Chill's area. You know, when you start about getting high, you know, that's Chill's area. You know?
Hey, JT, you know, come on now. We're not doing that. Anyway, whoa. Anyway.
And man, we'll make sure that your people in Rochester and around the world, because hopefully, because we've got people around the world that we've been talking and communicating with. So we're trying to make it, you know, for the people of Cleveland, but we're also trying to reach and bring in people from other parts of the country and the world so that they can get a chance to get some of this cool CLE music.
All
At
right.
what time does the show start?
It starts at 8.
At 8, September
Yes.
19th. Saturday, September 19th. Got it.
All right. And
Yes.
not that I don't know, but real quick, what you guys both playing? It's called Horns and Things. I don't know what the things are, but what instruments do you guys play?
Well, I play tenor and keyboard. LeGrand plays
And I play
soprano,
alto, soprano, and wind controller.
Okay,
And
hold on.
we have Sakai
Whoa.
Baksur on keys.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So JT, you're talking about saxophones first of all, right?
Yeah. See,
When
I
you
play
say tenor.
Yeah.
Yeah, tenor, saxophone, and keyboard.
Okay, and Ken said an instrument that I don't. Okay, hit me with that again, Ken.
I play alto sax,
Got
soprano
that.
sax, and wind controller.
What
A
is a
wind controller is
Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, it's the sound is induced by wind, but my controller, there's no sound. It's just a controller, so there's no sounds in the instrument. The sounds come from tone generators
It came with
that
a
I
wind controller.
have with me. So
Yeah,
it can
it's
sound
like
like a lot of different things. Yeah, it can sound like a lot of different things. It's
Right.
like a wind synthesizer. It can sound like a keyboard. It can sound like a piano. It can sound like trumpets. It can sound like a helicopter. I mean, yeah, a lot of different sounds.
Got to see this instrument. Do you have it handy?
He looking around
Uh,
like,
yeah, I do. Hold on.
oh,
Hold
well,
on.
we get to see
I
it,
do.
Felicia. We get to see the wind controller.
You'll get to see it. You won't
Do we
get to hear it
sample?
because I can't. I don't have time to connect it, but I'll show it to you.
You're right about that. Come on, show us the wind controller. Felicia, you'd have made that man have to go and get his wind controller.
Hey. It's
You
like
just
we
can't be
talked
talking about
earlier.
wind controllers up in here and not making them surface.
Hey, well, you know, it's like we
This
talked
is it
about.
right here.
Hey,
Hey man, that look like a weapon. That like
Yeah.
a Star Wars lightsaber. That's all right.
And it's got like on the back, it's got all these like computer dip switches on it, and you know, yeah, it's definitely a different instrument.
Okay,
No doubt about it.
Appreciate that, brothers.
Like where a keyboard player bends pitches,
Mm-hmm.
it has a pitch bend wheel on it right here and everything. So yeah, it's a little different.
Okay, he's a Jedi Knight on the wind instruments. That's what I'm talking about. He makes window up and through here.
That's right, man. When you come to see us, man, it's gonna be a whole nother situation.
All right. Hey, Ken and JT, always appreciate you. Support these brothers and hit the other, because put the stacks up for Horns and Things.
There you go.
That's right. September 19th at 8 o'clock. Horns and Things, and we're at hornsandthings.com.
All right. Appreciate you.
Chill.
Yes, sir.
And thanks for navigating me to the Zoom.
Hey, Felicia.
As a matter of fact,
me and JT had a Zoom navigation lesson earlier today. It's on now. He gonna be zooming. Zooming.
Hey,
everybody to be on the lookout for a Zoom call from JT.
and he still had a tough time turning on the camera.
He did, but he got on. Hey, brothers, we appreciate you, man. We up out of here.
Thanks a
Go
lot.
ahead and log yourselves out.
And tell the beautiful super producer, I'm looking forward to seeing her again at our usual place. Everywhere.
Absolutely.
Like me and Mr. Dogs up in here. All right. Y'all meet every day at the same cafe.
That's right. You know.
Hey, peace, JT. All right, Ken. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Take care. Thanks, Chip.
All righty.
Bye.
Okay, Felicia, we go get these brothers on about their way. And now, before we get the people from the Rock up in here, we have a few things, Felicia, that we need to go over because it's been we since the last show. And by the way, this is our 27th show under quarantine conditions since we have not been up at WERE. 27 shows, Felicia.
Wow.
Remember we did the first quarantine show at my mama's house, and you ruined that when you got us kicked up out of there with your black bag of herbs, whatever that was. My mama said, "No, we can't do that. Y'all can't have that up in my house."
Mama Chill had enough disinfectant to take care of all of that.
Jesus. Yeah, but no, I appreciate everybody that's hanging in there with us. And you do see the donation options. It's even now a PayPal. So Cash App, PayPal, you see the options in the link. So please, if you would consider donating any amount to Chill Talk, we would appreciate it. Also, I want to give a shout out to some people that are already shouting us out on the thread. What's going on to my brother Daryl Shake and Bake Sullins, no negation. Daryl Sullins was breaking bricks the other day, Felicia. Did you see that?
I heard about this.
He was gonna break
breaking.
20 inches of concrete bricks.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna have to get him back on the show to explain how this was going on and what made him.
I might need a live demonstration.
Hey, we're gonna need that brother to come on here and break some more bricks. Also, our brother Man, who was on the show the other day. Oh man, we need the Man was on the show giving the financial literacy breakdown, and they put forth someone won a card reader. I mean, I believe it was a PayPal. Was it a PayPal reader, Felicia? Anyway, we need to make that connect, man, to get that person the prize. Get Sister Anissa Seisha the prize that she won, and we really appreciate that. Also, my brother Andrew Parker said you all needed me. We were at the trivia again, man. Something going on at trivia, Felicia. We were the champs. We just keep taking L's. What happened?
I don't know. It was actually a little difficult this week. Even the champs from the past 2 weeks had fallen.
Okay.
So we tied them for second place. Okay. And a new team took first, but I think they only beat us by like 2 questions.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to ask, and you know what I'm saying. Was it fair? Were we fairly beaten?
I think so this time. I think we might have been fairly beaten.
Okay, because it's
this time it wasn't. It's been some other times I'm like,
all I know, ever since they started letting people use their phones to vote, a whole lot of people start knowing a whole lot of answers.
A whole lot of those questions.
The whole house is smart. Come on, man. So, but
well, yesterday, nobody got the question right that asked how many vowels are on the bottom row of a QWERTY keyboard. And you had to use your phone to send the answer, and people still got it wrong. We were the only ones that got it right. So some people wasn't cheating.
Okay.
They couldn't even when it was given to them.
All right. So, and just let the people know that we have teamed up. We did like the the team out west that combined all stars. So our team, who was the perennial winners of trivia, teamed up with the person from the other team who had beaten us a couple times. Our girl Debbie Elliott Debs, 3-time Jeopardy winner on the television, actually with Alex Trebek. We teamed up.
Who drives her Jeopardy car to trivia, the car that she bought from her Jeopardy prize money.
We formed a super team, and guess what? Ever since we formed that super team, we haven't won yet.
Ain't nothing super about it. Nothing.
See, like when KD, that's not what happened when KD came over. But anyway, I see my man Drew. He wanted to shout it out. So what's up to Mindy, who's in the building, and of course my man Sean, Sean California. Sean got his own heat going on. Sean up on Felicia. Woo! Sean it gotta get some elbow room. Y'all got to get up off my man Sean like that. But Sean got his own information scuffle going on. But big ups to that brother.
Sean always got an information scuffle going on. That's all you do.
Sean got a scuff going on. Hey, stand strong, brother. Stand strong, Sean. But yeah, so what we're gonna do? Anything else? Oh,
well, I
Felicia,
do have some
G-Cup stuff.
I do have some giveaways.
Oh, snap.
For our Chill Talk audience. It's a very cool backpack. This is a backpack. It's the kind you pull and it cinches, and it does say Black Films Matter. So we've got that. It's really cute, and it's actually chocked full of goodies. So do I need to let them know what's on the inside, or do it just need to be a total surprise?
I don't know, because I don't know what's in there. Knowing you, Felicia, you know what? I'm not, because you roll the stuff in your backpack. We can't even let them know.
It's a few goodies off up in here. Some local companies that donated some things, like a candy company. Jack Daniels actually donated some swag.
What? Is there some Honey Jack up in there?
Nah, we ain't giving out no Honey Jack to nobody. Nah.
I was gonna need that.
We trying to get people to come to the drive-in. We don't want them drinking and driving in. So yeah, we got goodies. We've even got popcorn for you. Black Films Matter popcorn. So yeah, we got some goodies up in this bag, and you will want it. I guarantee. So I need a question or something that we can put in the chat.
Okay, while you're thinking of the question, I want to also shout out my brother Anthony Washington from Rochester is in the building. Nurse Teresa Bowick, who will be joining us, she's in the chat talking about she wants it. Okay, I don't know how you. Well, we're gonna have a winner. Somebody else I wanted to shout out that I just saw their name in the chat. My man Thomas T. Swift Lindsay is in the building. So again, anybody watching the show, please go ahead and share it, because that's the first thing we want to know. If you want to win anything, we need to know that you have shared the show. How about that? All right. So,
yeah.
Haney, how we doing? How we doing the giveaway?
So I guess we need like a G-Cup question. Does anybody know? So G-Cup opens tomorrow night. And we have opening film with Taraji P. Henson. I always forget the name of the film for some crazy reason.
Best of Enemies.
It's about her and the best of enemies with the KKK. Let us know who's hosting tomorrow night's talk back. After the film, you'll be able to talk. We'll have a talk back with the director, with the real life daughter of the character that Taraji P. Henson played, who is also an activist herself, and another gentleman whose character was in the film. So we got somebody hosting that.
So who is hosting the talk back is the question.
Who is hosting? So
who is hosting the talk back? So whoever tells us who's hosting the talk back, the first person that we see that's hosting the talk back, then we will see. Nurse Bo, we're gonna get to you. We're about to get to you in a second. But yeah, so that's who wins. So whoever can tell us who's hosting the talk back will win the prize. All right, you ready for our people live from Rochester, Haney?
All right, I'm ready.
Bring them in right now.
Bring in our ears to the streets.
All right, let's see. I see they're getting in there. Nurse Bowick she does not have sound. We have Councilman Mitch, Jacinta. All right. So we still need sound from Paul. Actually, we need sound and cam from Paul and Nurse Bowick. Okay, we see Paul is connecting the audio as we speak. Let's get our Rochester crew in here. All right, until we can get Nurse Bowick together, because she does not, and Paul does not have, they're not in. But we will go ahead and start. First, let's talk to Jacinta. How are you doing, Jacinta?
I'm good, I think. How are you?
You are doing well, and well, you sound good. You have a good picture. So you are in. Now, everybody we have on here right now is in Rochester. Am I correct?
Yes, I am in Rochester right now.
Okay. Now, before we talk about what's going on in the streets of Rochester and the situation, I want to give you a shout out and a congratulations as a filmmaker. I saw your film Fat Jesse. Oh my God, I loved it. Great, you starred in it. What all did you do in that film, real quick?
I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it, I started it, and I edited it.
Okay, I need everybody watching to only talk to us and hear us on Zoom and not on the Facebook. So that's probably Nurse Bowick. Thank you. All right, so really quick, Jacinta, I want to tell you, excellent. Your acting was great. I love the look of the film. It had a message. How can people, when is it out? How can people find it? What's going on?
Yes, actually it premieres next Tuesday, the 15th, at the Rochester Fringe Festival. Tickets are $5 and it can be purchased at the Rochester Fringe Festival website.
Okay, and the name of the film again is?
It's Fat Jesse.
And what is it about, real quick, just to let the people know?
Fat Jesse is the story of a girl who is trying to fit into societal norms, and she needs to battle with her inner demons to really learn how to love herself and her partner.
All right.
Is this a feature film or a short, or?
It is a short film. It's 25 minutes long.
Okay.
All right.
Congratulations.
Jacinta, you talking to a big, Felicia Haney is a big boss over at the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival.
Okay.
She's a shot caller over there. So you want to,
well, hello and nice to meet you. And I would love for you to check it out. I'm sorry?
I said you have to submit it to us.
I definitely will. I will do that. I would love for you to see it and let me know what you think.
All right, now let's get to the business at hand. Since we started talking to Jacinta, you, as I understand, oh my God, you were out in protest and were shot. Is this? Am I hearing this correct?
Yes, that is correct. I got shot in my foot. I don't really know what it was, but it did burn for like a day and a half. It stopped burning after I washed it a couple of times off, and it stopped burning after that. But it was a wild night.
You weren't with Tory Lanez, were you?
It sounds like it, right? I feel like Meg Thee Stallion. I'm sure her injuries was much worse than mine, though. But okay. I definitely felt like that.
Okay, now what days you've been out in the street? It kind of let us know what was going on, what's happening. Of course, this is surrounding the tragic death of Daniel Prude, and you guys have been out in the streets of Rochester on a regular basis. Let us know what's going on out there.
So many people have been trying to change our narrative and say that we were violent or we were throwing things. And while there were a few people who might have been agitators, most of us were nonviolent. Everybody was peaceful. No one was harming anything. By the time we got across one of our bridges in Rochester, the cops may have said 2 times that what we were doing were illegal, and they just started spraying us with tear gas. They started shooting whatever that was that I got shot with in my foot. At one point, me and my mom was trying to get back to the car, and the cops were like chasing us and banging on the car, and he had like a gun out. It was nuts, and it was really sad, you know, to see that be allowed for nonviolent protesters. That is our right to assemble. That is our right to protest. And no one was causing any harm to anyone else. No one was destructive or anything like that. So for our police officers to treat us like that, it felt like being in the 60s. Like the second day they had dogs out and everything. They were throwing firecrackers. It really felt like what you read about in the textbook. It's unbelievable.
Now, how many times have you been out, Jacinta, since this whole thing has started, and just what is the atmosphere?
I have been out a total of 3 times. The first time, it was, at first, when you first go out, it's beautiful, you know, before the cops show up. Everyone's out there protesting for the death of this man. It's white people, black people, everybody's out here, and we're all together and we're singing and we're all there for one cause. And it's honestly, that part of it really is beautiful. And then all of a sudden you're met with these angry cops for no reason. And it's sad that they're allowed to do this to us. It's sad that they keep on getting away with the same stuff over and over and over again.
Okay, now, fortunately for us, we do have a city official here with us. We have, I believe, in Rochester, are they called councilmen?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's right.
we do have Councilman Mitch Gruber here, and I'd like to thank you for coming to the show, showing up on Chill Talk, especially, you know, due to everything that's going on in your city. And I know in advance that you, from what I hear, and I don't want to speak for you, were coming to and have been talking about your city going through a healing process. And you guys have not only, you know, people know what's going on nationwide in Rochester, but again, it was big news about, I believe, the police chief of police, and the assistant chief stepped down. Is that, anyway, introduce yourself, Councilman Gruber.
Sure. My name is Mitch Gruber. I'm a city council member, but more importantly, I'm a friend of Nurse Bowick and Jacinta. I've known them for going on a decade now. So when they asked me to go on a show, I know better than to say no to that. So I appreciate you having me. And I wish I could shed some light on what happened to Jacinta, what she described. But sadly, the very next night, Saturday, I went down there myself with another council member, a county legislator, and a couple other elected leaders in the community. And we decided we were going to stand on the front line to try to talk to the police department and try to encourage them and convince them not to take up arms, not to shoot pepper bullets, not to shoot tear gas. And I myself got shot multiple times. So I can't necessarily shed light on what happened to Jacinta. I certainly can't explain it. I can't say it was okay. I can't say it was merited. All I can say is that we are in the middle of a major crisis in our community right now. And fortunately, the one thing I will say is that since that night, since Saturday night, we now have had 3 consecutive nights of peaceful protests where the police have not engaged in any level of militarization or escalation with the community. And I think that's in part due to city council members, specifically our president of city council, President Loretta Scott, really pushing the agenda and saying this is unacceptable, but also because of a really, really loud voice of community activists and advocates like Nurse Bowick and Jacinta. So when we hang up the phone now, I'm going to go down there myself. I live about a 5-minute walk from it. I'm going to check on it, and hopefully we have a 4th night of peaceful protests.
Okay, well, while we still have you on here, Councilman, as a politician in the city,
please call me Mitch.
Okay. Can I call you Councilman Mitch? All right.
I prefer Mitch, but go ahead.
All right, Councilman, I'm gonna have to give you the mean Ice Cube face. Anyway, telling me how to run my show. All right. Talk to us a little bit about when all of this news has kind of encroached upon your city after everybody found out and saw what happened to Daniel Prude, how are you dealing with it as a city council? How are you dealing with it personally as just Mitch? How do you reconcile what's going on in your city and what has happened, the tragedy that happened to Daniel Prude?
Yeah, first and foremost, the overarching feeling that I have right now, that's been the case. It's been 1 week since we found out about Daniel Prude, but it feels like it's been months and months. Is sadness. I feel so sad. I feel sad for Mr. Prude. I feel incredible sadness for his family, for his brother Joe Prude, who's been out there every night protesting, and I just feel so much sadness for our community. You know, people like Nurse Bowick and myself, frankly, are out there advocating and cheerleading for the city of Rochester all the time. And it's a great city in so many different ways. And it has an incredible history, and it has an incredible current and future in front of us. But the reality is we are in a crisis right now, and it is an incredibly sad thing, because it's not just about what happened to Mr. Prude, but it's also about the fact that this city still does not know exactly what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and a number of other things. Yes, we've seen the footage, and you know, obviously, any of your listeners can watch the footage. I'll warn you, it is triggering, it is traumatic, and I would not advise anyone to watch it without being prepared for that. But the reality is, we don't know why this happened on March 23rd, and our community found out on September 2nd. So to answer your question, Kevin, my response, my action as a city council member has been focused on one thing predominantly, which is to get to the truth. So city council is launching an independent investigation to figure out who knew what, when did they know it, why were actions taken that they were taken. Because in my personal opinion, our city cannot move forward and cannot find closure if we don't know what happened and then start to hold people accountable.
Okay, before we bring Nurse Bowick in here, who was the liaison to reach out and to get you on, I want to ask my producer, Felicia, did she have any questions for Councilman Mitch Gruber?
I'm busy talking in the chat.
You and Sean busy man in the chat. Sean is in the chat getting it in. Well, I want to go to Nurse Bowick, and people know she's no stranger to Chill Talk. She's actually been on Chill Talk in the studio at the station, and she's called in before. Nurse Bowick, first of all, thank you for gathering the people that you have here. And we do have Paul. Paul, I'm going to get to you, bruh, so just hang in there with me. But Nurse Bowick, first of all, talk to me about Councilman Mitch Gruber, why you thought he was an important person to bring on. But you yourself have been out in the streets, and we'll talk about some things. But let us know about why you brought Councilman Mitch Gruber here.
Well, first of all, I just want to say good evening. Hello, Cleveland. I know Buzz is out there somewhere. One of my favorite people in Cleveland. Hey, Buzz. You know Buzz is a fan of Chill Talk.
Don't get Buzz started. Don't get Buzz started.
Hey.
And just to start this conversation out with saying how painful it truly was to watch the video and to send our condolences and our prayers of comfort to the Prude family. The reason I wanted Mitch to be here with us tonight is because Mitch and I have been in the trenches. You know, it's okay when you're doing the TV shows and radio shows with folks, but when you're on the streets, actually making a change happen, and that is something that happens. You know, Mitch's day job is managing an organization in Rochester called Food Link. So throughout the pandemic, and whenever people are hungry in this community, it is the organization that Mitch runs that makes sure that food gets on the table, that a box of food shows up at your house when you're hungry and you have nothing. So that is the type of person, somebody that's going to be with me in the rain, in the snow, in the sleet, and also in the sunshine. And so that was the reason that I knew Mitch would be the perfect fit to just really give you a real perspective of what we're going through in Rochester right now.
Okay, and I want to ask you this as a nurse, and I want to bring in my brother Paul from Rochester. But as a nurse, let's go back to the actual death of Daniel Prude, as we all tragically witnessed it on video recordings where this man's head was covered. I don't know what they're calling it, a hood.
We call in the medical field, it's known as a spit hood, and those type of PPE in a sense, because that's what it is protective equipment that is used to protect the personnel when someone is spitting at you and causing you to have contact with their body fluids, which could expose you to a number of diseases and germs. And so we understand that the spit hood is used and how it is used, but there's things that happen to Mr. Prude that is just downright mean and showed a lack of compassion, because March 23rd was a cold night in Rochester. It was snowing and he was butt naked. Okay, he had on no clothes. And there was no attempt to give the man comfort. You know, that's not a training that I believe that a police academy is going to provide. I think the fact that you come in contact with a naked individual on a cold winter night, you put a blanket on that person if you can't get close enough to clothe them in a jumpsuit. And those are the things that hurt our community so badly, is because there was such a lack of compassion in how he was not even treated like a human being. And it just got progressively worse as you continue to see the video. And then when we as a community start to say, well, wait a minute, this is not the Rochester that I know. This is not how we get down. This is not how we treat people. And that started to hurt even more when there was such a lapse, March 23rd to September 2nd, and we're just now finding out what happened.
Okay, and again, I appreciate you pulling these people together. And like I said, you're born and raised. You're born and raised in Rochester?
Born and raised in the Rock.
Okay, and with all this attention on your city, this negative attention, and to see what happened to this man, like you said, in your city, to see what happened to Daniel Prude, and I always want to make sure that we keep focused on this person and his name, and just understand what happened to him. Just you, not just as a nurse, as a person, as a citizen of Rochester, New York. What's the climate right now in your city? How are people feeling? What's going on? Are they all looking forward to getting out in the streets? Are they hoping that the president doesn't bring the black hoods in to throw you in the van and take you away? What's the climate there?
The climate is a climate of sadness. There is a climate of fear. There's a climate of uncertainty, and there is a climate of anger. Anger in the way that Daniel Prude was treated that night, anger that we didn't find out for so long, and then more anger as the story starts to unfold and there is some inconsistencies in how the stories are being told. And then, there is, we lose our police chief, who's another person who I work side by side with in the streets of Rochester trying to truly make a difference. And so when we ask for resignations, my thought is the what if. So if Laurent Secretary is not the man to be the chief of police, then who's the alternative? If Lovely Warren is not to be the mayor of Rochester, then what is our alternative? And so I think when you look at protests and you look at healthy protests, it's important to know what you get out of it. As a nurse, whenever we bring a patient into an institution, day one, we're thinking about discharge. So on day one of the protest, what is the end going to look like? What will the end of this look like? And for me, when I think about the healing process, I need an arrest. My healing process will not even begin until there is an arrest in this case. And it will then scab over when there is a conviction and a long jail sentence. That's my healing process. But as with any wound, everybody heals differently. And so for some people, the healing process has already begun. But I know in the situation where we're at in Rochester now, it's fertile ground for better. Because it's pretty bad now, and I pray it don't get any worse. So I'm looking at being where we're at and growing. I mean, you got President Trump tweeting about us.
And I would just add that part of what Nurse Bo, I agree with everything Nurse Bowick says, but what I've been stressing over and over and over again is that Protesting is part of the grieving process. Our community right now is grieving. We're grieving because of the way that Daniel Prude's life was taken from him at 41 years old. But we're also grieving from the fact that we have lost a great deal of trust in our city government. And I'm saying this as an elected official, and we are allowed to grieve. And what makes it real bad, Kevin, is that when people like Jacinta and Teresa and myself, take me out of the equation, people like Teresa and Jacinta and thousands of other people show up to grieve, and they are met with pepper bullets and tear gas. All it does is it stokes the rage and makes us need to grieve even more. And that is what we're going through right now.
Okay, Mitch, I do want you to hold on because I do want to ask you something else, but I want to bring in Paul. And I do want to say that I've put the link up to the Zoom chat. So anybody who wants to come in and ask a question, a good question, or make a comment, you have the ability to come into the room now, but you know the rules and regulations of this show. Brother Paul, all right, can we get you on here right now? Can you hear us? Okay, there you go.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
All right, brother, what's going on, Paul? I understand, Paul, introduce yourself, but understand that you have been at the forefront, the groundwork, the foundation of meetings in Rochester with Black Lives Matter, even before this happened. And as we found out about it, please introduce yourself and give us your viewpoint of what's going on.
All right, sorry, it's kind of hard to hear you. I do apologize for coming on late. I was at work earlier. I don't want to take any credit for being at the forefront of anything or setting up any organizations. I'm more of a guerrilla protester. I hear about something going on, I hear about an event, and I show up and I just do my part for my people. So yeah, I started back in May when they started protesting down at MLK, and since the George Floyd incident, and we've kept it up since then. Of course, things did die down, of course, for the last couple months. And to be honest, people's plans and everyone had a different view of what they wanted out of things. So the cooperation for everyone kind of died down for a second. And unfortunately, the death of the brother recently just happened, kind of brought everybody back to the forefront. And hopefully it's going to give everybody one direction and we could all be on the same plan this time so we don't get distracted.
Okay, you're out actually in the street right now, correct?
Yeah, I'll let y'all see right now what's going on. I just got out of work, so usually I'm on time at the events. Give me 1 second. So it's probably about maybe 400 to 500 people out here right now. I got to put my mask on. Obviously, you're got to stay corona safe. So give me 1 second.
Okay. While Paul is getting that together, and keep that shot going for us, Paul. Councilman Mitch Gruber, as Nurse Bowick brought up, she's looking for an arrest. We've had people stepping down. This also is a political issue. We also have to deal with the fact, as you said, that this happened. There was such a time span in between the time it happened and the time that the nation found out about it. And I might understand that you also found out about it almost the same time that we did.
The exact same time you did. I found out about it based on the press conference on September 2nd as an elected official.
Okay. And well, how does something like this, from your knowledge of being involved in city politics, how does something like this happen to somebody in the streets of Rochester and that much time passes before we even know about it?
If I could answer that question, I would. I'm flummoxed, I'm confused, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm sad. And that is why we're doing an independent investigation to figure out what happened. But to Nurse Bowick's point, I do want to mention that one of the reasons why there was discrepancies in when to tell who and this and that is because the mayor and her administration claimed that they were not to do anything while the Attorney General was investigating it. Of course, the Attorney General of New York State, Letitia James, has since said that's not true. You could have done anything you wanted. We were just going to handle the criminal side of the investigation. So that as that discrepancy is taking place, the fact is that right now these protests that Paul is currently showing us and that I'm going to walk down to in a moment have made Attorney General Tish James completely expedite her investigation, and a grand jury is being seated shortly. And I believe that we will get some accountability, as Nurse Bowick asked for, from Attorney General Tish James soon.
Yes. But I
Okay.
think it's also important to note how COVID-19 played into this. And during the night of that incident, after Mr. Pruitt lost his life and then he received CPR and was then placed on life support, families could not go to hospitals. So there was no communication, from what we're hearing now. The family couldn't just go to the hospital and say, well, let me see my loved one, and then go, well, wait a minute. How did he end up from a mental hygiene call to dead? How did we get there? So that's another layer to this. And then we don't talk enough about mental hygiene, arrest, and the fact that that night, perhaps if there was some mental hygiene experts there, that situation could have played out. Every single person has somebody that they know that has a mental health diagnosis. And many times as families, we don't know how to handle that behavior in the house. And that's the reason why the brother called. When he ran out of the house partially clothed, I need some help from my brother. But what he did not need is for his brother to be killed in that situation. And so when we look at our mental health laws and what do we do and how do we do and what's in your community. So for everybody that's listening today, make it your business to find out what are the rules and regulations around mental health arrest, around mental hygiene arrest. And if somebody in your family is having a night like Daniel Pruitt had, what sort resources are available to help you and your family manage it so that you're not reliving another Rochester? Because we don't ever want this to happen again.
Right. And let's be clear that Daniel Pruitt was failed by every part of the system. Earlier in that day, or I guess the day before technically, his brother had admitted him to the hospital, to Strong Memorial Hospital, and they released him after 3 hours. And it was just, I'm not sure exactly the time, it was just several hours later that he bolted out of his brother Joe Pruitt's house. So the reality is that the hospital failed him. Nurse Bowick, I'm sure if you watch that video all the way through, I'm sure that the treatment by the paramedics, the EMTs on site,
I was appalled.
horrified you. Correct. I mean, there is just so many ways that Daniel Pruitt was failed. And again, we need to figure out how to bring some closure to that with some truth, with some accountability. And our community needs to be able to grieve. And that's why Paul is where he is right now.
And let us
Can I
not
piggyback on what you said, Ma, about the rules and regulations? One of the things that's really frustrating, and it seems to be very consistent, is that there's clearly two different rules. I have seen officers arrest different people of different cultures and arrest Black men, and it seems to be two different ways. And originally, when this came out, they first said that the officers did nothing wrong and they followed protocol. And it just seems to me like there's two different protocols, because how do you have a man that is literally naked with handcuffs on and you feel the need to now further physically restrain him with your body, and it's deemed following protocol? I don't get that. And it is consistent with our Black men over and over, city to city. And it seems like maybe we need to look at those rules of and regulations of officers and what they're allowed to do during arrest. And why is it always consistently different when it comes to Black men?
I agree.
All right, sorry about that, Jacinta. So people are seeing the show and they're calling me and they're wanting to know how they can get on and ask questions. So again, again, put the link into the chat. So if anybody wants to come in, and I really appreciate Paul being on the ground right now. Paul, real quick, explain to us, if you can come back in, let us know where you're at and what you're seeing right now.
All right, so right now we're down at MLK Park, and protesters they just feeding them, giving them drinks right now, making sure everybody got some food in their stomach and hydrated with water. And they're gonna start marching after everybody's got something in their system. To be honest, we are missing a lot of our people down here right now. It's a lot of other people representing for us right now, and you know, that's always appreciated, but it always matters when we come out and march for ourselves as well, you know.
Okay.
You find out a lot of times we down here.
Is this organized by anyone or any group in
Yep,
particular?
it's the Black Lives Matter of Rochester, Ashley Wenderhurst, and the 4 young ladies that she's with, and as well as a group of other people. It's always organized through Facebook, Instagram. Daily is updated as far as what's going on, what time the events are going to start. They do training as well for anyone who's first-time protesters who don't know how to go about it and what to look for, how to dress, be prepared of bringing food, snacks, and things of that nature. So it's always organized.
So what have they said? And I'm not sure if you know, Paul, but I'm thinking because they're putting this information out on Facebook and things of that nature. Have they commented on some of the protests that have not gone peacefully? You know, the ones that ended up where people like Jacinta and Mitch, you know, are getting shot with these pepper bullets.
You know, so just going back to when we first really started, when George Floyd came, and I know they try to make it about Antifa and people antagonizing. I think that is very drastically over exaggerated. When you come down, it's 98% to them 2%. Right now, like the young lady spoke earlier when I heard her speaking about how positive and calm everything be. As you can see, let me take it off of me. As you can see, like this is everyone is casually amongst each other, relaxed, calm. You know, no one's mad about anything. So, and they're organized painters right now to come down and paint on the wall. So, and there's no police presence down here at this time either. There's not even one cop car. Usually they are like parked around and try to like block you off and search you off, but I haven't seen any police out here. So.
I think let me know if I'm wrong, Paul, but I think what you were saying is that when you said you needed to see more of us down there, are you talking about you want to see some more black people down there?
You know, I ain't want to be as black and white when I said it, but you know, to be honest, it is like that. You know, the first time when I came there, I noticed we had a big presence of women and a lot of different color of people. We do not have enough brothers coming out. The ratio number to that, if you even want to do us to other men, maybe is 1 to 10, if that, and that's me being nice. But we definitely do not have a strong presence of brothers down here to even protect if something happens. So I do notice that, and just even speaking on the color thing as well, it's maybe 2 to 10 right now as far as black people to all of the colors. So we are definitely not representing ourselves well when it comes to wanting these social changes and judicial changes. I would think, you know, if we're on Facebook and Instagram and we having these barbershop and hair salon debates and conversations, that we actually gonna step out once in a while, you know?
Okay. Hey, I appreciate you being out there on the street. And Councilman Mitch Gruber, can you, because I know that we've been hearing a lot from the mayor. What is the city council's relationship with the mayor in general, and in this matter? What is the city council's relationship with the mayor?
It's been very good. I've been on council for 2.5 years. It's been a very good relationship, and I think that's one of the reasons why this is so hurtful, even for the city council. I mean, We have to do an independent investigation. That is the most important thing that we can do as a body. We need to exercise our oversight because as I'm sure Teresa and Jacinta would acknowledge, from the first 3 or 4 days of hearing about the tragedy of Daniel Prude, we heard a different story every single time that City Hall opened their mouth. And so, relationships be damned. That's not what this is about. This is not about any individual. That's not what this is for me. This is about letting the truth set us free. This is about ultimately letting the truth lead to accountability and justice and some closure for our community. So, I'm not sure that answered your question, Kevin, but I can say that in my mind, the reality is there was pre-September 2nd and there's post-September 2nd. And I'm just thinking about getting into the truth right now.
Okay, let me ask you this: when you went out there yourself, and on the front lines, as you said, and you got the same treatment that Jacinta got.
I sure did.
I mean, did you go down there? Did you expect that? Truthfully, one, as a member of council, two, as a white male, what did you expect would happen when you went down there?
I got to plug my phone in. So can you still hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I guess here's what I'll tell you. When I went down there, I think all the assumptions that you're making right now, Kevin, about me as a white man, an elected official going down there on the front lines, the assumptions you might be making about what I thought, it's the opposite. I knew very well that when I got up to the front and I took off my mask and let some folks see who I was, I had a feeling that there was going to be some anger and resentment. And I can tell you that I saw a couple members of the police force very clearly make eye contact with me. And I could see, I won't even try to judge what's in their heart. But here's what I'll tell you: the explanation for why the cops broke out into shooting tear gas and pepper bullets that night was that there was a firework shot from the protesters into the officers. And I can tell you that I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I saw that firework, okay? But I saw it about 20 feet to my left. And the moment that firework went off, I got a pepper ball shot into my leg, and the legislator standing next to me got a pepper ball shot into her head. And if you look at the policies and protocols for pepper balls, for shooting pepper balls, it is to be done at people's feet to disperse the crowd. It is not to be shot at people's torsos. It's not to be shot at people's heads. So, there's and I hear Jacinta loud and clear. There are so many claims about how police officers, not just here, but across the nation, are following protocols when things happen. They're following protocols. We hear that all the time. Well, guess what? The protocols all have discretion involved in them. And the discretion that is used, I think, has been poor and has led to a lot of injuries and has really hurt our grieving process.
All right, Jacinta.
Yes.
Now, when you went out there, certainly you weren't expecting to be shot with anything, by rubber bullet, pepper ball, anything like that. When the police started firing, what did you think? Did you see it leading up to that, or did it just happen out of nowhere?
It was so fast. Honestly, I guess Rochester, we think of Rochester as like this utopia. Like, we usually don't have these problems in Rochester. So never in a million years would I think that our police officers, Rochester Police Department, would respond in that way. And it happened so fast. We were literally marching, singing Kumbaya, and then next thing you know, the air is full of smoke and there's pepper balls flying and people are running and crying. That night, I think I helped so many other people that was shot in their eyes. We had a girl who had broken glasses. There was people throwing up, passing out. So before this even happened to me, I'm trying to help all the other people that this happened to right in their faces. So no, I did not expect it. It was very sudden. It was very, to me, I would say, uncharacteristic of Rochester from my experience. Usually Rochester is not this. this unorganized, this chaotic, this just seemed merciless. Like it just seemed like I've never seen this type of behavior from Rochester. I've seen it all over the nation. I've seen it on the news. I'm very shocked and appalled at Rochester.
Well, and let me ask you, Nurse Bowick. Okay, matter of fact, Nurse Bowick, hold on. I want to see what Paul is saying right now.
Kevin, I gotta jump off the phone, but I appreciate
Mitch,
you.
I'll call you Mitch. Thank you for coming on. Be safe, man, and fight the good fight for the people. Okay, but go ahead.
I'm happy to come. I'm happy to come back. Let me just say two things. Number one, Jacinta, don't give up hope in our city. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. And number two, Nurse Bowick, I'm gonna get some answers about what was actually sprayed on people and what some of the health impacts are. And Nurse Bowick and I are going to be doing some public forums so folks can understand what they experienced and how to get through it in terms of their health. So thank you all. Thanks for having me. Have a good night.
Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Nurse Bowick. Okay, hold on. Again, like I said, Paul, let's go to you really quick. What are you seeing right now? What's going on? And is everything still peaceful, or brothers starting to get a little upset? What's going on, Paul? I don't know if you can.
All right, so I just had to get back to my car because I was at work earlier, so I can't walk as far as they about to, but we start marching now. And I'm assuming we're going down to the city hall. So that's been the mission every day. So start up here and go to the city hall, or we might be going to Jefferson, where the actual unfortunate death of our brother happened. So I'm in the vehicle now and catching up to the crowd marching.
All right, Paul, well, we're going to hang with us as long as you can. I understand you got things to do, but hey, the live footage is a good thing, bro. So I appreciate you being out there on the ground and in the streets. And I know Jacinta, I don't know if she was going back out, but I appreciate everybody hanging here with us and talking. But Nurse Bowick, and I did want to ask you because one, it's unrest in the streets. The police have started firing on unarmed citizens. You have your daughter out there in the street. And as I always have to point out, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Talk to me about your feelings as a nurse, as a mom, as a person involved. Obviously, you're involved in city politics. You're able to get Councilman Mitch Gruber on here. Talk to me about what's going on in your mind about what's happening in your streets with your loved ones out here.
So immediately, the night started with my daughter and I, administering first aid. Once we found out that the police were using tear gas and that they were using a certain type of pepper spray, I immediately went to research what we needed to have on hand. And so we made sure that we had milk. We made sure that we had tearless baby shampoo. We made sure that we had water, and we had all the things that we needed in the car to provide the proper first aid. And so we were doing that all night. But when the moment came when I was on one side of the bridge and I saw these folks open fire on my kid, it was oh my goodness. It's like my heart just went, it was like if I got to swim across the Genesee River to get to my baby, I'm going to get there. And of course, there's this whole line of police in riot gear. And I was determined that I needed to get through the smoke. I needed to get through everything that was going on to get my hand on my child. And at the moment that she made contact with me, she gets shot with the pepper bullet, and the police is standing there with a gun in my face. And so now the dynamics is changing, and she's like, yo, you gonna have to get this gun out of my mama's face. But the idea that this is happening in our city, I mean, it took me a good 36 hours to actually get them to disclose that they had switched from tear gas to pepper spray. What's important about knowing the chemical weapons that they're using is knowing what to bring as far as first aid and antidotes. And so, once you first get hit with that pepper spray, you're going to get that stinging feeling. You're going to get that burning. You're going to start to cough. And it's important that you get the oils from the pepper spray off your body. But it's equally important that that you get your car cleaned and freed of those things, that once you get home, that you get those clothes off. You know, if there's a place that you can get those clothes off before you get to your home would be perfect. That you wash those clothes separate from the rest of your clothing, and that you get your car washed as soon as possible. And so for those of us that's going out night after night after night, that is the process when you come home that you need to do to prepare. But Kevin, let us not minimize the mental health impact that this is having on us. I haven't slept well, knowing that my city is at unrest, knowing that someone needed health care in Rochester, and instead of receiving the care they needed, they got a death sentence. That the paramedics didn't respond. And when you rewind everything that happened to Mr. Prude that night, it all started with on an Amtrak train in Buffalo. So this started an hour before he even got to Rochester, that he was starting to spiral out of control and wasn't even able to get the help that he needed from that point. You know, many of us use public transportation. You like the train, Kevin. You know, at a point where you can no longer ride the train because of your behavior and the police needs to be called, you know, some contact needs to happen to your family to ensure that you are safe. And nowhere during that night was Mr. Prude's safety considered. It did not ever become a priority. And so for me, the health and wellness of Rochester is the priority. And I'm focusing my attention on how do we keep this community healthy and happy, because you need both to be successful in this world.
Well, thank you very much for
I
giving that.
wanted to look at, I know that Paul was saying, it looks like he has a different vantage point now, and I also see some lights that maybe could possibly look like police lights, because before he was saying there were no police there. I'm wondering if they have shown up.
Nope, those are protesters riding bikes. So
Oh,
you
I
see his
see
cars
now.
here as well.
Yeah.
So you got cars that help block off
I can
people who
only
might
see it
want
from a
to
distance
try to
before.
drive through the protest, bikes to help stop. Everybody's together.
Awesome.
Still, like I said, there's no police presence anywhere down here.
So I have some questions from the chat, and whoever wants to jump in and answer these can answer. But one is about gas masks. Do you guys recommend that people wear gas masks because of these reasons and the things that are going on down here that, you know, if you want to come out and protest, if you can get your hands on a gas mask, should you?
Gas masks will help you to a certain extent, but when those pepper balls actually make contact with your skin, the gas mask really does not fully cover you because now your skin is burning. It will help you with the tear gas, and it will help you, you know, actually with the air and the breathing and that type of quality, because there's just so much smoke once they open fire on us, you know, but it will not give you the 100% protection, because once that pepper ball and that pepper ball oil hits your skin, it just starts to burn you. And the gas mask can't protect you from that.
And to piggyback on what Felicia was asking, for my people out here that are watching, that will be watching, that may come in contact with tear gas, what is the proper procedure for dealing with tear gas as it is pepper spray? What's the difference for people who might be protesting or might get pepper sprayed or tear gas for any other reason?
So you want to make sure that you have water for tear gas. You want just plain water for the tear gas to wash that away and to get to clean air as quickly as possible, where you can start to breathe better. If you can get away and get into a better environment so that you can start to breathe fresh air and have as much fresh air and cleansing of your skin. When the tear gas and stuff is getting in your eyes, you want to make sure you have water to start to flush your nose, flush your skin, flush everything. Whereas with the pepper spray, milk will neutralize the pepper spray oils and stop the burning.
Okay. Again, people.
One thing I'll point out is that a lot of people were complaining after you neutralize with the milk, make sure you rinse, especially if it's in your eyes, because one of the complaints we were having is that Some people were saying they would get eye infections or whatever if they left the milk too long. So once you stop your burning, the milk will definitely stop the burning, but make sure you also cleanse your skin and cleanse your eyes with something else to clean that off.
She acting like the nurse I always wanted her to be.
She's on her way to being a great filmmaker. But I do want to say, for the people that are watching right now, recognize the fact that we have people on the ground here in Rochester, a city that I often visit, know and love. And as Nurse Bowick said, well, what she said was, I like to ride the train. No, you all just keep putting me on the train to get to Rochester. But
well, how would you like to get here? You want to fly?
I'd much rather fly, but no, I will.
There is no direct flight from Cleveland to Rochester, so you're gonna fly about 10 hours to get here. It is a three-hour distance.
Okay, we're not gonna have that discussion right now, but I do want people to go ahead. Please share this show. You know, Felicia and I, when we talk about what's going on Chill Talk, as you can see, we're getting to the places on the ground, getting the real stories that, you know, sometimes you're seeing on the news, but, you know, talking to Jacinta, talking to Paul, talking to Nurse Bowick, and even Councilman Mitch, we're giving it to you a way that you're not going to get for people that are actually on the ground. So please share this. And if you can make any donation or contribution to Chill Talk, that information is on there as well for Cash App or PayPal. Paul, let's check in with you again, bro. Making sure that you're safe and everything's going on. What do you see right now? Paul, there we go.
They're making their march on the way. I'm making a turn down the street. I shouldn't be turning, but they marching on the way down. They're going to the Rochester Police Department.
Okay, Paul, don't get arrested for traffic violations messing around with Chill Talk.
Yeah, but I am gonna have to go, you guys. Like I said, I got out of work, so I do gotta go get ready. But I am gonna out here.
All right,
Paul, do you have time for one more question?
Oh yes, most certainly do.
Okay, so there's
I got an answer for one thing too. When you mentioned about the tear gas mask, if you guys are on Instagram and you go follow Black Lives Matter Rochester, it should be BLM Rochester. There's a 4 different pages of things that you should wear, what you should bring, how you should come dressed, and things that you could wear to protect yourself from any tear gas, pepper spray, or anything like that. They have a list of things that you guys can read through for yourself as well.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I was going to pose this question to you, Paul, only because you brought up Antifa earlier. But whoever wants to jump in, if you have knowledge on the subject, please do. So there was a question, or actually a couple of questions in our chat that asked about Antifa. Do they have any connection to Black Lives Matter? Someone said they thought that Antifa owns Black Lives Matter. And I don't know if you want to comment.
I don't mean to laugh at stuff like that, but any type of rhetoric like that is just hilarious to me. But you know what? Since the Boston Tea Party, people have been rioting and fighting against the system. I think when people see what the media tells them about Antifa, then they have a perspective that is untrue in their mind. Personally, I don't agree or disagree with what they do, but Antifa is there to fight the system that is currently in place. Are they for taking Black people and putting them in the place that we're trying to go to? No. But are they against suppression and the powers to be? Yes. So ideally, they are fighting the same fight, but are they in line with our ideas and where we're going in life? No, they are not. So I don't want to put that out there either. But they aren't against us either. So anybody fighting the man, I'm cool with, to be honest.
All right, thank you, Paul.
And speaking of the man, and I don't know if Felicia can address any other question from the chat after that. Speaking of the man, Nurse Bowick, you stated that you guys have caught the attention of President Donald Trump. How do you feel about that? And when did you hear that he had started weighing in on what was going on in Rochester? And what does that mean to you?
So, you know, we know that he's like the king of Twitter, you know, and that's how he communicates. And so, you know, he took this opportunity in the midst of our pain and our grief to really kind of downplay our governor, which we know he does not care for. Governor Cuomo took a pot shot, you know, at our mayor, and basically wanted to say to the American people that those cities and states that are run by Democratic mayors and governors, these are the types of things that are happening, that this is why these protests are happening, is because these people are in charge. No, these types of things are happening is because a Black man's life was snuffed out on the street without any compassion and any concern. And so I responded to him and said, you know, don't sit on your perch and talk about my city and throw stones. Come on to Rochester and let's have a conversation. Walk the streets with me. Come to my house for dinner. And let's talk about what's happening in Rochester and how to make it better. But don't just sit back behind Twitter and talk about us. That's a punk move. Did I say punk move? I said that.
Yeah, you did. Felicia.
Well, for somebody who took a trip to Milwaukee and didn't even visit with the family of the victims, I don't think coming to your dinner table is probably on his agenda, but I could be wrong. But I guess I just wanted to comment and saying that, you know, maybe this is a wake-up call for towns like Rochester, where you thought like, oh, this isn't what happens here, you know, but DJ Quick told us a long time ago that all these other cities is just like Compton, right? So it means this stuff is going on everywhere. So even if we're not used to these things happening, or we think they shouldn't be happening, or whatever the case, they are happening. So it's up to us to start being proactive and not just, you know, reactionary, but to see, you know, what we can do to change this. And a lot of people have a lot of different views on what that answer is. Some people's answer is just voting, and some people feel like that's not enough, you know. Some people's answers is rioting, you know, uprising, and some people feel like, oh, that's not the way. So, but whatever it is definitely a change that has to come. So
Exactly. And Felicia and Chill, one of the things I noticed a similarity between Mr. George Floyd and Mr. Daniel Prude is in their final moments of their lives, they both called out for their mothers. And last night we had an opportunity to do a tribute to them. And I read Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. You know, that the poem that reflects on what a mother is saying to a scared son, to give them that encouragement, to give them that motivation, to give them that strength. And just the idea that these men were calling out for their moms, final moments of their lives. It just stuck me. That poem just came to me like, this will be the right words in this moment to share with the community, because it's so important that they know what folks go through, and that life for many of us has not been a crystal stair. But the place that Rochester is in right now, we still going, and we are certainly still climbing.
mm-hmm.
I think like
you know,
what
we have
you
similar.
said. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, we had a similar situation, you know, some years back when our very own Sean Levert of the group Levert had, you know, unfortunately died while being in a prison cell. And, you know, when they had the audio of that, or the video of what happened, he was doing the same thing. He was crying out for his mother, you know, this grown man, you know, but feeling like that helpless to where he's just like, you know, calling out for his mother, which is you know, maybe not exactly the same form of a police brutality, but he did not get that care, you know, and that attention that he needed. And, you know, he unfortunately passed away as well. So that's, yeah, that's very powerful, you know, and it's definitely something. So if you haven't read that poem, go read it. If you have, brush up on it. You know, it definitely has some power behind it.
Jacinta, you were getting ready to say something. Go ahead.
It was about like what Felicia was saying before when you said that some people feel like voting isn't enough or some people feel like protesting isn't enough. I feel like whatever your avenue is for change, we need it all. You know, if you are a person who want to be out on the front lines, don't, just do it. If you want to donate money, if you want to write a book, whatever your avenue is to spark the change, we need it all. I don't think anybody should sit there and just tell people what they shouldn't do and do nothing. Instead of telling people what they shouldn't do, figure out what you're going to do, because we need it all. Every avenue needs to be used right now.
Jacinta, to be there, your mother said when you guys finally got together and you were right there with her, when a policeman pulled a gun, pointed a gun in your mother's face. What was going through your mind at that time?
Oh my God. I deleted the video. I didn't delete it, but I took it down because it just made me want to cry. So the first thought after everything is like, I know she got out of the car. Because originally I told my mom, like, Mom, just stay in the car. I'll be right back. And I'm like, I know she got out of the car. When I turned the corner and I saw she wasn't in the car, I was just like, oh my gosh, where is she? What's going on? And before I could even say, Mom, I'm glad you're here, I couldn't even say anything. It was like, I see you. And I'm like, Mom, get in the car, get in the car, get in the car. And it was just like frantically. And I felt bad because I was yelling at her, but I was terrified at the same time. And I wanted to fight the cop because he like got a gun in her face. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's like this rage. You get upset somebody's trying to hurt your mom, or they have the very good potential to hurt your mom. You just get in this, this stage of like, you too close. I need to do something. Like, I didn't know what I could do because it is a gun, but it's like, I don't know. I just felt helpless. I felt angry. I felt a lot. A lot of emotions at one time.
I can't even imagine what that would be like. And I think I can speak for Felicia. I cannot imagine again what we would do in that situation. I feel for you having to actually see that happen, but you out there in the streets in during the protest, you getting a real opportunity to see what's going on. Like you said, you had an awakening. You didn't think this happens in Rochester. And Felicia quoted DJ Quick.
Yeah.
But hey, like Gil Scott said, New York is like Johannesburg. LA is like Johannesburg. Johannesburg is like Johannesburg. So it's the same sentimentality. We're comfortable and we watch this on the news, thinking that this doesn't happen in our city, and we're not different. We're not special. We see it in communities where Black people are, in confrontations with the police. We see it time and time and time again. Nurse Bowick, I believe the mayor there. It is a Black woman mayor of Rochester.
Yes, I know her very well. We are sorority sisters.
I believe her name is Mayor. Is it Lovely
Ann Warren? Yes.
Lovely Warren. Okay. What kind of person is she? How does she relate to the city of Rochester? How do people generally relate to her in Rochester?
She loves the city of Rochester. She loves the city of Rochester. And the idea that one of our own, a homegrown girl, went to the Rochester City Schools, went away to college, got her law degree, and is now, was on the city council and is now the first female Black mayor of our city, young. So we were really excited. I'm not going to say we are excited about the fact that she is in a leadership role. She has admitted that there are things that she could do better. And I believe that she will. She's one of those people that you're going to see in the neighborhood. You're going to see her on the streets of Rochester. You're going to see her with the people. That's who she's always been. So we're at a place in a time where, a lot of people are screaming, resign, 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 resign. I don't necessarily know that that is the best answer right now, because we've lost LaRon, we've lost our police chief, we've lost Mark, we've lost these are deputy police chief. These are people I'm saying their first names because those are the relationships that I have with them. I'm the person that's calling them up. Look, I don't like what's happening over here. You know, we need some change over in this part of the city right now. These are those conversations. Come on over here. Let me show you what's going on. And they're there. Now, we're not talking about people who are just absent from the community. Just like Mitch. Mitch been in the Conky, where I run Conky Cruisers. He's been there numerous times.
Okay, now
So
people do not know what Conky
correct?
Cruiser. People in Rochester are familiar with Conky Cruisers.
Okay, for the listening audience, Conky Cruisers is a neighborhood bicycling and now community tennis organization, and we make it happen around health and wellness of young folks, middle-aged folks, and old folks. Anybody from 2 to 102 can come to Conky Cruisers, learn how to ride a bicycle, learn how to play tennis, learn how to eat healthy, develop a social circle. Never forget how important the fact that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, what's up? Hey, sister, hey, brother. Having a social circle, having people around you that you can connect with is equally as important as having a good blood pressure. The lack of either will kill you. And so that's what Conky Cruisers is. And all these people that you're seeing in the news and in the headlines has been there numerous of times. And not just with my organization, but with a number of organizations. Of course, the mayor and I are both Delta, so community service is what we do. We're always at a community service event and doing those types of things. And so she was the inspiration. I remember Jacinta was teaching in Chicago, and they were talking about things that girls could do. And one of her students said, well, a girl can't be a mayor. And Jacinta was able to share with her student, well, yes, a girl can be a mayor, because in my city of Rochester, we do have a young Black woman that is the mayor. Lovely is a symbol of hope. Lovely was a symbol that I too, from the Rochester City School District, from the city of Rochester, that I too could be the mayor of this city, having sat in those classrooms. And so that's what she means to us. So the idea that we want her to resign, that we want things to be bad for her, that we want her to be hurt, absolutely not. Yes, there needs to be accountability, because these stories ain't adding up. A plus, 1 plus 1 ain't equaling 2 with what the mayor is saying and city council and the chief of police, it just ain't working. But at the end of the day, when Lovely Ann Warren is successful, Teresa Bowe is successful. Every little girl that's looking at her is successful. And that's why I need her to win and to make this right.
Okay.
I think that's what made it so shocking, is because we did have such a respect for her. We do have such a respect for her. We do have her on this pedestal. We do love her. We do support her. And for the most part, she's been awesome. So it's shocking. All of this is just shocking for our city.
Well, but let me ask you this, because also you had a Black police chief, and I guess it will be called a deputy police chief. The two
Yes.
officers that resigned.
Right.
They were both Black men, correct?
There's three that resigned. There was 2 deputies, one Black, one white, and then of course LaRon Singletary being our chief. And so we did lose 2 very high level police officers in our community. And it was hurtful because we were excited that they were in those positions.
Right.
That they could encourage other young men and women to join the police force.
But as you said, there's accountability. There's accountability, yes, regardless of what color public official is. When you have a man murdered in the middle of the street, as you said, butt naked,
Yes.
with a hood on his head in the middle of winter, and it not only does it happen, but we don't even hear about it until who knows how long later. There's some accountability to whatever the politician, the mayor, the police chief. And so the police chief resigned. And this is probably also somebody that
he did not resign. Let me correct that.
Okay.
He retired.
Okay.
He retired. That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
And that's another outrage for the community, because they feel like, well, they're just walking away with their pensions and basically not giving the Prude family of this community any accountability to those actions. But the other thing that I'm a bit curious about with all of this is that body cam footage. Everybody, oh, the cops got body cam. How often do anybody look at that stuff? I think we need some new rules around body cam footage. All that footage need to be reviewed on a regular basis, because somebody knew what happened and a whole lot of talking. I mean, the story is everywhere. It is many inconsistencies in it. And it's just like, okay, so we invest in all these body cam for the police. Who watches the footage? How often is that footage watched? What happened last night that we don't know about?
Right. And you know what? And that's to the point. And I want to say what's up to Shelly Shockley, that is one of my journalism mentors in the building. And my BFF, LaDosha Wright, is also in the building. And I believe, what was the other day? It was Shockley. Oh my God. What was it, Shelly? It was Shockley Hour. Shockley. Okay, it was something, but I was with it, whatever it was for. But yes. And as a journalist, and Felicia knows this, as a journalist, a lot of times we have to parse out relationships with politicians who we know, or just in general, when Black people have to be checked for things that they do to affect the Black community. We have to, as journalists, we face that all the time, that we have to separate that to be the advocates that we need to be for our people.
And you know, it's
because the police take care of themselves.
Yes, they do. But the other little bit of friction that we have is in the D9 family, because our chief of police is a Sigma, our mayor is a Delta. So it's just like, what does D9 do in our community right now? You know, it's just like, I said, you know what? I can go to any protest, because for me to ask for what's right is not me saying that I don't love my sister. For me to ask for what's right is not saying that I don't love my brother. I must ask for what's right from them. In fact, I hold them to a higher level of accountability, because we share that Greek life together than I would anybody else. I'm like, wait a minute, this don't sound right at all, you know? So I can love them, which I do, both of them, greatly. Like I said, I've been on the ground with them. But I need a higher level of accountability. I need a story that lacks 55 inconsistencies. I need to know what happened, because there's somebody that's counting on us to get it right and to move forward.
Right. So, and because when I first talked to you, your first among your first words is that you were looking for an arrest.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want those officers and those paramedics that stood on that cold winter night and watched this man, like I said, who was butt naked, in handcuffs, and not at one time did you choose to offer him a blanket. Not
and
once.
Just to point out, the medical examiner did, in fact, deem his death a homicide. So usually,
and that's another sister, the medical examiner.
A homicide, how come there was not an arrest?
And we had a question. Shelly Shockley has a good question. I wish we still had Councilman Mitch on here. She's saying, so is it true that the mayor watches all body cam footage?
I can't answer that question, and I would say obviously not. If somebody was killed and it was videotaped on March 23rd, and we're not having any conversations about it until September.
Right. Well, I don't know. You might get say obviously not, because we don't know that for sure.
We don't know. But my thing
She
is
said that she did not see it until August 4th.
Okay, so she did come out and speak on that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So my thing is, okay, so if you got body cam, when do anybody watch it? In any city, when do they watch body cam footage in Cleveland? So it happens tonight. When does it actually get reviewed? And by who?
Hey, I would hope, and I don't have the answer for that, but I would hope
call the chief of police and ask him.
In any case that somebody is killed, that should be the first thing that happens, is that they review the body cam footage.
Right. I believe that a lot of what was happening with this and why there was able to keep us in the dark for so long is because of COVID-19, and the fact that once that man was in the hospital, okay, his brother knew what he looked like that night. His brother was not able to see him again until he was making a decision to take him off of life support. Now, if I see you this afternoon and I get a phone call that you in a hospital, I'm going to be like, well, what happened to Kevin? He didn't look like that when we was on Chill Talk at 9:55. What happened? Immediately. But there was a whole delay in that because of COVID-19. And so let us also be aware of how many other things that people are hiding behind the pandemic.
Okay, now Shelley is reporting, she said that that what it is the mayor said that they watched the body cam footage in all use of force videos, use of force actions. But she said in her defense that it wasn't reported as a use of force death.
Right.
Yep. It was originally supposed to be reported as a drug overdose. That's what she said that she got.
And so in that case, you know, you wouldn't have gotten the response. And I'm sure that, you know, perhaps people wish this would have went away. But thank God for that medical examiner. Thank God that she put, when she did that autopsy, that it was a homicide. And that when the autopsy is online, and you could see that they wrote that there was a very small amount of PCP in his system at that point.
But people have been harping on that one little thing with him. With Black folk, if you have 2 pieces of anything inside of you, that's the only thing they ever care about. They harp on that. They've been harping on that PCP forever. And what my thing is like, even if he was on drugs, even if he was heavily on drugs, that still should not have landed him a death sentence.
And the EMT, did you see the EMT footage? Did you guys see that where the EMT is saying, this is not you guys' fault, that, you know, this is how people act when they're on PCP. Wait a minute, honey, if you're able to identify that he was acting erratic because he was on PCP, why was there not a mental hygiene arrest? Why was this not treated a little bit differently? So you done basically admitted to you did not follow protocol. If dude is dead and you knew when you arrived what he was dealing with, you need to stop talking or get a lawyer.
Well, again, as I made my promise to the super producer, that we would not do 3-hour shows, and we are approaching the 2-hour mark. Felicia, before we get ready to close this down and do our final shouts, do you have anything that you want to add?
I guess I just want to ask you guys, you know, what's next? Because like Nurse Bowick has mentioned several times, she's looking for an arrest. I mean, we're still looking for arrests in Breonna Taylor, you know, hasn't happened. In Cleveland, we actually did get 1 arrest out of all of the, 13 cops who fired 137 shots into 2 individuals. There was 1 person arrested and never convicted. So, you know, I don't know what's next. I guess that's what I'm saying. I mean, where do we go from here? If we don't get those arrests, then where does that leave us? What do we do next? And are we on the brink of maybe like a possible race war?
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. One of the things that, you know, for me, each day, you know, when I look at Black Lives Matter, I had to refocus on me. You know, and I said, okay, if Black Lives matter to me, what am I eating? How am I taking care of myself? Am I exercising? You know, I've gained 50 pounds in 3 years. If Black lives truly matter to me, then I need to be my best self first. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at how Teresa Lou Bowick can be her best self first, because this Black life has to matter. And then looking at how do I help my daughter, only child, you know, my family, and then my community. Looking at the laws around mental health. So as I'm pushing for arrest and convictions, I'm actively working to strengthen our community around how do we provide help for people suffering with mental illness. There is so many Daniel Prudes in our community. And, you know, back in the day, we just lock somebody in a room and say, look, you know, every family has one, you know, that's where he is, that uncle in the room. But Uncle done came out the room now. And we need to look at how do we accept, process, and treat families, because when your family member is going through a mental health crisis, you're going through it too. How do we support families through that? That's the little victories that we can chew on as we wait for the big bite of an arrest.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody involved.
Can I say one thing?
You sure can, Jacinta.
Really quickly. When you talk about what's next, to me, I want to further look into these protocols that I mentioned before, because you will constantly see these officers hiding behind that everywhere. So I don't know how yet, but it's definitely something on my mind when it comes to what's next is what are these protocols? Because how is it that you can bring in armed white folk? They could point guns at you, they could shoot at you, and they still have their lives at the end of the day. And then with us, people end up dead and you still follow the same protocol. I don't get it. So I want to personally look into that. That's my next. What is these protocols? And how do we make sure that we have the same protocol for everybody and that it's not leading and ending up with so many Black bodies dead? That's my next step.
Okay, we appreciate that, Jacinta, and good luck on your good luck and congratulations on your film, Fat Jesse. I enjoyed watching it. I didn't know what to expect when I saw it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for a first time actor, producer, director, you might have did the lights and the sound. I don't know everything that you did. I know it was a lot. You did it. You did a good job. So
for the Tarantino, huh?
Yeah, she went Tarantino on there.
You gotta make sure Felicia get a link. I'm just gonna say, as her mama, that sex scene bothered me a little bit. I'm just saying.
It was a butt naked sex scene in the film.
It was not butt naked.
That's my baby, okay? That's my baby.
It was a butt naked sex scene up in there.
It was not butt naked.
It was close to it.
It ain't the type of thing you want to see your daughter doing on a movie.
But that's more of a reason, as a first time person acting, starring in a film. My God, she literally jumped right on in there with that. So no, congratulations on that. So anybody, again, Jacinta, how do people see the film Fat Jesse?
www.rochesterfringe.com. The name of the film is called Fat Jesse, and tickets are $5. It premieres on September 15th.
Okay,
could
you spell that, the Jesse?
Jessie.
Okay, all right, and thank you guys for showing up. Nurse Bowick, thank you for bringing the councilman, for reaching out, and thanks to my brother Anthony Washington for hooking me up with Paul out in the streets of
that
Rochester.
On the ground footage was hot, Chill. That was hot.
Ground, yeah, on the ground footage. And matter of fact, if anybody's watching, hey, we're gonna try to keep doing this anytime anything happens. And I was gonna get to that. I don't know if somebody wants to win that Black Films Matter backpack. You have to answer that question. Take a stab at it.
What's the
It's gonna be you, so y'all just need to give my baby that package.
What's the question, Felicia?
So the question was, I said that the Greater Cleveland Urban Film Festival opens tomorrow night, and I wanted to know who the host was for tomorrow night. There's a talk back following the film, and I want you guys to tell me who the host is.
All right, so there it is. We'll
send you a bag. Actually, Nurse Bowick got it right. I'm not gonna tell the answer. Anyone who
oh, so somebody already won. Nurse Bowick won.
I put it in there. I knew it.
I'm gonna take another person
because that can't be legal.
If you already won, then I won't guess. Okay, never mind.
Well, I'm gonna give it to my daughter as a gift for her first Black film, which is, it's awesome. It really is.
Okay, well, you're giving your daughter that, so you're giving away another one, Felicia. Is it the first person that answers in the chat?
I am. I'm giving away another one. Someone in the chat guessed me, but it is not me. So, or maybe you want to clarify. When you say you, are you saying me as in Felicia, or you as in someone else?
Hey, man, mama, y'all better be quick with that answer because Felicia done gave enough clues that make you know who it
That
is
was a
now.
nice clue.
You know, she said, was it me when you said you? So unless they thought it was Nurse Bowick or Jacinta.
It is also not LaDosha who answered me. All right, so LaDosha came back with the right answer, which is Kevin Chill Heard.
What? Wait a minute. I'm the host.
That's what I was gonna guess, but my mom had already won, so I ain't say nothing.
Yeah, so Chill is our host for tomorrow night. Make sure you guys are tuned in. Get your tickets at gcuff.org and see Chill doing his, journalism thing.
Is it going to be live or is it going to be virtual, Felicia?
It's going
Live
to
is
be
virtual.
You didn't already record it, Chill, did you? Is it live?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe
No, you
it's
didn't
live.
record it yet, so
No.
it's live. It is live, and it's also virtual.
So we could actually come up to Cleveland. It's just 3 hours, I ain't got no flight money. But we could come on up there and check it out tomorrow night, right?
But it's you guys go see the same thing that everybody else is seeing. It's
Yeah,
virtual.
all you gotta do is watch from your computer.
Oh well, then we'll do that.
They need you guys out in the streets administering to the protesters in case there's some drama. But again, I was going to say, just a second, I was going to say thanks to, I did say it, but I want to say it again. Thanks to Mr. Anthony Washington for connecting us with Paul out there in the streets, on the scene, on the ground. So we appreciate that. So thanks to Paul, thanks to brother Anthony Washington and all the things that he does in Rochester. And yeah, as Nurse Bowick said, I'm in Rochester a lot. And I've even participated with Conkey Cruisers on events. I've come down and I've worked with the kids and helped them out and done some things. So, I'm also, I care about what's going on in the streets of Rochester. I'm there a lot. I'm sure I will continue to go back and forth as this pandemic thing hopefully ends up doing something. That's a whole nother show, Nurse Bowick. But
well, I got some work for you coming up. I already got you in the budget.
Okay,
but
I
you
like
gonna
that.
have to take that train.
Okay, we back on that train again. All right, man. Them people smell like feet on that train. I'm just letting you know that right now.
I'm gonna look for you a flight. Flights have been pretty cheap, but if you have to fly all day to get to Rochester,
man, them people smelling like feet and bologna sandwiches on that train. But I will say, the first time y'all had me in like in a compartment. I had my own compartment, even though the compartment looked like it was built for somebody, like for really little people back in the Elfin days. But it was better than being out there with people smelling like boiled Fritos and bologna. Boiled feet and Fritos. But yeah, no, I appreciate everybody for coming out. Everybody, again, you can still share the show. That means at some point they'll have the entire show. We will download this to our YouTube channel. Feel free to follow me on YouTube at Kevin Chill Heard. Just go to YouTube and look for Kevin Chill Heard. And we appreciate everybody. And last time, you see the donation Cash App, which is money to chill. But anyway, just hit the link. The link is there for Cash App or PayPal if you wanted. We had a really good show.
Great.
We hung in there. So, Haney, we up out of here. Thanks to LaDosha who won something.
Well,
Yay!
I was saying before that Shelly Shockley also answered. She was a little bit late, but we love Shelly, so we're gonna go ahead and give Shelly a bag as well. So we'll
Team Shockley.
All right.
Team Shockley.
Team Shockley in the
congratulations. We will get you a bag. Just want to say thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks for giving us your opinions as well as being boots on the ground. We appreciate you and all that you're doing. So keep fighting a good fight. And thanks again for joining us.
And watch Chill Talk. You can win stuff, even though today it seems like the fix was in. The winners were LaDosha, Felicia, and Nurse Bowick. The fix is in. But
I
that's
didn't
all
win
right.
nothing.
Felicia, we know that you already you have one. I might be the only one who does. We're going to work that out.
I didn't
I
win. Technically, I didn't win.
I think your mama giving you hers,
Yes,
but
I
we'll
am
see.
giving it. Mhm.
All right,
So
but
you
we
put
appreciate
my
you guys.
back on the train tomorrow so to get to me, okay?
All right, but hey, you guys be safe out there in Rochester, and
We will.
and Nurse Book, we appreciate you out there helping out, administering milk and water, and you need to bring some Jack Daniels, some honey Jack with you. Some people they might need a drink.
They might need it.
Dealing with all of that out there,
Might
but
need it.
No, I need everybody to be of stable mind. You
yeah,
know,
that's
we don't
true.
need to
Yeah.
be adding no honey jack to the protest.
Yeah, y'all don't need to be all jacked up out in there. That'll be a whole
Take
different
the
thing.
edge off.
See, Jacinta, that's what I'm trying to say. You see, Jacinta. Okay, anyway, we're up out of
Shout
here,
out to
guys.
Mama Chill, who's watching.
Yeah,
Thanks
my
for
mama in the
coming.
building.
Hey, Mama Chill.
All right, we out. We love
Good night.
y'all.
Bye. Good night. Thank
Peace.
you.
So much.